into traffic, and you could see like
That too.
like one block of children just like skirt, like stop immediately and be like, ugh. Oh, did this software
I've
I'm not.
crash?
I'm not
Oh,
gonna lie. I'm gonna say yes. I have done that before too, and scared like an entire area of kids.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've all
I,
done it. I've yelled at my kids at school when they were doing something stupid.
Yeah.
And it's not like I was swearing or vulgar or anything, but it's like enough to get their attention, and there just happened to be, 80 other kids around.
You get that voice and you're
So,
like, stop, and it's just like, "Boogie." Everyone's like,
well,
what?
especially since I
So-
tower over like most of the kids and the adults at the school.
you
Oh,
tower over
sure.
most people, yeah. I'm the same. It's just like, yeah, dude, you're smaller than me. Um, did I ever tell the story about the kids throwing rocks back in England
I
that
don't
I
think
scared
so.
the bejesus out of?
Mm-mm.
So I used to work in a place where the place closed at midnight. So like
Taco Bell.
I was literally close the place down, and then fucking get on the last bus home to get off the bus to walk around the corner to where I lived.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like maybe 1:30 in the morning, and I'm walking down the street heading home with my backpack on, my leather jacket on, my beanie hat on, and two little shits started throwing rocks in my general direction.
Oh, they're throwing them like at you? I thought they were just throwing them
Yes.
around.
Nope.
Well,
So
that's
we,
not-
we
that's not gonna
basically
work.
passed each other, and as we passed each other, they threw them at my back. And I'm
No-
wearing
no,
a
sir.
very thick leather jacket,
Mhm.
and these kids are like 11 and like 7, and it's fucking 2 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I ain't dealing with this shit. So I
No.
stopped, I turned around, and I started walking towards them. And the second I did that, they would immediately shit themselves, like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And I was like, I literally walked up to them, stood directly in front of them, and said, I am fucking tired.
Mm-hmm.
I've just finished work. If I was somebody else, you'd be getting punched in the face or stabbed right now.
Mm-hmm.
So fucking stop throwing rocks at strangers, you fucking idiots.
Yeah,
And stay in school, you little shits.
that's right.
Yeah. And they were like, yeah, we will, sorry. And then fucking booked it as fast as they could. And I was like, you fucking stupid kids. Like, I was a shithead when I was a kid, but I was like starting fires in the middle of nowhere. I wasn't throwing shit at people.
Yeah, like that. Those are different. Like, oh man.
You know, I didn't live in California, so I didn't have to worry about starting a
I
fire
was gonna
there.
say,
True.
I don't want to say about the shit I got up to as a kid because I don't want my kids to hear it.
Statute of limitations has passed.
That's right.
But yes,
That's not the issue at all.
Right.
you don't want your
I
kids
have-
to hear the Patreon
I
content.
have a very, very colorful history as a
Yeah.
child.
Oh, ditto.
I was the problem child.
I was the secret problem child. I was the kid who was all great in school, great grades, well behaved. The second I was alone and in the wilderness, I was just like, yeah, I'm fucking starting a fire.
Time for murder.
Oh, this
Wait,
is
what?
this is how you make a grenade out of an aerosol bottle? Cool.
Right.
That's good to know.
Yep, did that shit. Mixed gasoline and pop bottles
Yep.
and threw
Uh-huh.
them in the floor. Yeah, all that fun
All
stuff.
the old
Yep.
classics.
Uh-huh.
I got to thermite way before I should have.
Yep. I learned what napalm was by accident.
Yes. Okay, before we indict ourselves anymore, are you guys ready to get started?
Oh, you don't want to
Yes.
talk about my friend, the Anarchist Cookbook? And
It's like the first thing I
Uh-huh.
downloaded online. I was like, is this thing real? And I
I
was
swear
like,
to
oh, no,
God,
it is.
Everybody in that era did.
Yeah.
And then you started getting those stories about like the FBI getting people and stuff. Like, that's not real.
That's not real, but I'm going to delete it just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to a brand new episode of That Video Game Podcast, aka TVGP. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpear
Hello.
and the Nymph.
Hello.
Quick plug here for our Patreon page, e1m1.cash.
Those ones are the numbers.
A $5 a month tier is a recommended one. Gets exclusive access at the $2 tier or higher. Gets exclusive access to the Outcast, the uncensored, exclusive behind the scenes, everything. We're all kind of out of it today, so if you want to hear probably the most diverse. We're talking about Pink Eye. We talk about Bungie stealing stuff. We're talking about religion. We're talking about the British Navy. We even talk about our dad voice. You got it all and way more in there. For anyone that isn't subscribed to Patreon, if you're wondering how long these episodes are, they're usually about 45 minutes. So some weeks they are as long as this show is. So if you're looking for oftentimes double the amount of content available over there on the Patreon site. You had early access
And
to...
if you just want to, I was saying, if you just want to giggle at us swearing randomly,
Yeah, exactly.
that's there too.
Yeah, that's me too.
That's when we get a bit of blue going on. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Hey,
right.
lads.
That's right. You get early access to...
I was very British.
It's very... I appreciate it. You get early access to We Were Like It and Critical Misses, exclusive access to the Critical Misses production meeting, and also at $5 tier for that, and at $5 tier you get exclusive access to the Wayward Sons Supernatural TV show watchcast featuring Moon and the Nymph, E1M1.cash.
The ones and numbers.
2 quick plugs here for community stuff. One is the Final Fantasy V Forge Out Fiesta in less than a week from when this episode comes out, is going to start registration. So if you haven't heard of the Fiesta over the last couple of years, myself and tons of people in the community have been playing it every year. You play through Final Fantasy V with a selection of 4 classes that are randomly given to you. It is, if you haven't played Final Fantasy V before, that's fine. It's a great way to get started. You don't have the full however many jobs. You have this kind of laser focused thing. And
first taste is free, Boston says.
Exactly. You got it. There is a channel in the Discord server, discord.tvgp.tv, where we will more than happy to help you. There's a bunch of us that kind of know that game back and forth. So if you get stuck, let us know. Go join that over there. Also, now that we're nearing the halfway point of the year, wanted to put a plug for next year's Publisher Fantasy League. So we've been playing that over the last couple of months. You can find that at, what's the URL? fantasycritic.games. That will be the full explanation there. But essentially, it's like fantasy football, but you're running a game publisher. So you're drafting games that you think are going to do well throughout the year. You're counter drafting ones that other people have picked and you think are going to do poorly. And then you have a whole bunch of other stuff. So if you're interested in doing that for next year, the drafting starts after the Keeleys. So that'll happen here in a couple of months. Let me know in Discord. Just pop into the Fantasy Critic channel. Let me know. I'm trying to figure out how big our league is going to be, and if I need to break that into kind of 2 leagues that are going to go head to head with each other, because there's a system for that as well. So if you're interested, it's free, it's fun. You don't have to really do anything once you draft your games if you don't want to. It's really super easy, and it has been a lot of fun.
I've spent a lot of time staring at mine, being like, why am I not getting higher points?
Right. I thought this game was going to... Or my favorite thing of, like, I just don't have games releasing for, like, a couple of months. So
forever, yeah.
Got a big old goose egg. I was in the negatives for a while, but I'm doing okay now. So
yeah, I was going to say, I think it was, like... it wasn't until May, the end of April, that I finally got a release, and you were, May? So towards about the same time, you were, like, a week or so after.
Yeah, like, late April, yeah, so... Been a weird year for games overall.
Yeah.
But yeah, fantasycritic.games. If you're interested in joining up, let me know. And I'm trying to gauge interest for next year's league, because we're definitely going to be playing it again. It's been a blast. Okay, all of that fun community stuff out of the way. Moon, what have you been playing this past week?
Before we do that, can I get a quick reminder? Is it Despelote is the Game Club game for this week?
Despelote is the new Game Club game, and the next We Roguelike It game is Into the Restless Ruins, which is a brand new roguelike that we're playing. So check both of those out.
Yep. Get yourself up to date on, the stuff that we do homework for.
Yes.
Anyway, I played 2 games.
Okay. I'm ready.
Doom, The Dark Ages.
Oh.
Hey, did you know this is all single player game?
What?
Oh yeah, they don't have they removed the multiplayer, right?
0 multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
What about the season pass?
Thank the Lord.
I don't think they have a season pass for this one, right?
I don't think they do either.
I don't think they do. Yeah.
Yeah.
But how are they going to earn money off of this game if they're only selling a game
How can
and an
I
idea?
They're gonna
feed?
sell it on PlayStation.
Yeah, how can I feed capitalism with this game?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So hey, it's more Doom.
Uh-huh. Did you play the
Stove-
last one, Eternal?
Yes, I
Okay.
played 26 and I'm pretty sure I got full gamer score on 2016 and I did every achievement except for the multiplayer ones on Eternal
Damn,
because screw multiplayer modes is
Yep.
my general
Yep.
thing for that. Yeah, Dead Space 2's multiplayer achievement says hello.
Oh,
I hate you.
The worst.
Yeah, I was going to say, here's a hot topic. Just because your character has a gun doesn't mean it needs a multiplayer mode.
Yeah.
Yep, pretty
Exactly.
much. So Doom Eternal is interesting because Doom Eternal seems to be a prequel to
Right.
2016.
Right. I remember them saying that.
It also seems to. What did I say? Doom Eternal? Doom the Dark Ages is a prequel to 2016.
Yes, right.
But also it's got it. It's weird because there was a very satisfying loop in Doom 2016 of you use this to get ammo, this to get health, this to get shields, and you basically have a MOBA style combat actions that you do to maintain levels on all of those three things, where you have an order of operations that you manage your micros and you get them down to exactly as most efficient as possible to stay alive. Doom Eternal's problem was it added two more things into that, and I needed to use my Elite controller to press all of the buttons needed to do all of the things in
Needed
that
all
game.
the back paddles for that.
Literally, the last time I used my Elite controller was for Doom Eternal and using the back pedals.
Yep.
This goes more towards the Doom 2016 end of things, where there is a loop, but it's a slightly different loop.
Okay.
And I hate to say this, but I don't think the loop is as satisfying as the previous games.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
There is too much parrying in this game. Number one, you have a shield, and that shield does chainsaw thing on the edge.
Of course it
But
does.
there are parts that this thing turns into a bullet hell, and you have to parry a bunch of attacks.
See, that's the thing that I've watched some people playing this because I was really curious about how the shield was going to be introduced in the gameplay. And the thing that I've been surprised by the most as I've been watching people play this is how much it's like a bullet hell, and it almost gets to be like a rhythm game where you're like dodging this way, parrying this thing, dodging the other way, jump, parry. Like it has this kind of, even watching it seems like it has a flow to it.
Yes, it definitely has a flow. I think they're going for a different flow vibe from the previous Dooms. Like I think they're going less of a micro flow, like to use the RTS terms, like less of a shortcuts flow, less of a MOBA flow, and more of a movement feel like flow to it.
Oh, okay.
So like you can, if you dodge, if you parry green attacks, the green attacks get launched back at the opposition, and it does major damage. Insert appropriate meme here.
Crab meme, etc.
Yes. Yeah. But during other sequences, you can dodge the green attacks, but you can only dodge them in a specific way, which you have to see how it looks and then dodge in the correct direction to avoid the hits.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Which I'm not going to say what those sequences are because there's some interestingly cute and funny and stupid sequences in this game so far. I am in chapter 8.
Okay.
Of 22.
All right, back to the old days of Doom. It's like, here we go.
Can I just say too, real quick, that Boston has the video up right now, and it just showed the Doom Dark Ages logo. I really appreciate how medieval fantasy they went with that logo.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 100%.
It
This whole
at first I
thing
was like, this
is
could have been a
weird.
Dragon Age game.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the weird thing about this game is it's like it's like half medieval fantasy, half future tech.
Is
Like,
it hitting that Warhammer feel for you?
It's getting a little bit of that vibe, but like they've changed so many enemies. Like imps are now like if you played 2016, you had those stupid zombies which were just fodder enemies.
Mm-hmm.
Imps are now fodder enemies too, which they weren't in 2016. They were weak, but they were not fodder enemies. The not the hell the Hell Knights feel a lot weaker. Cyber demons, the things that are giant and have horse legs.
Yep.
Those are considerably weaker. It feels like everything just feels like it's a little bit weaker, and I can't tell if that's just because I'm used to playing the Doom games at this point, or if they're deliberately making it because it's the game still is super fast paced. It's still it's still very heavy metal.
Heyo. Are you playing on the normal difficulty?
I'm playing on the standard for everything. Okay. So, mad props words due. Thank you again, and I'm sorry if you complain about this kind of stuff. Just shut up.
I'm over people complaining about accessibility and difficulty options. Like it's 2025.
Exactly.
Either get over it or stop playing games. Like I'm so.
They changed the name of the easiest difficulty in this game, and people complained about it.
Whatever.
Like, so for those of you who don't know, the new difficulty, the new lowest difficulty in this is Apprentice Slayer or something like that.
That's a really good name for the difficulty. That's good. That's great.
And it's changed from "Please Don't Hurt Me, Daddy," which has a whole bunch of abusive connotations to it.
Yep.
So maybe shut up.
Also,
I did think it was funny though. I will say
it was for a game that came out in like 1980 something.
Yeah, it's definitely like a relic of its age. The thing that I think I really like that more games are doing, and I've seen that this game does, and actually Forza Horizon 5 does this as well, is that you can change the game speed, so the speed that the actual game runs, you can change it down. You can change it all the way up to 150%. So you want something incredibly
ready for some
difficult.
Doom speed runs.
Yeah, like you can do that, but you can also turn it down. I think in this game you can turn it down to 50%. So
I believe so, but they also have all of the now should be expected, but is still not, and it's still a surprise when you do it. But they have all of the usual ones too, like. There's a parry window option that you can manually change. Like it gives you a recommended parry window based on the difficulty you choose, and you can manually change that however you want.
That's great.
Like you can change the QTEs, you could do all that kind of stuff. Like you could just change all of that stuff on the fly, no matter what difficulty you're on. It's like good,
I love
fantastic.
That. Yep.
Like I'm playing it on the default difficulty, which honestly it's probably a little easy for me.
Sure.
But I'm not here for the difficulty of Doom right now. Like I'm not in the good headspace for it. I don't feel like that kind of challenge. I have Elden Ring, which I bought on sale if I want to go and give myself a huge challenge.
Right.
I'm not here for that at the moment. What I'm here for at the moment is I want to play Doom. I want to be the Slayer, and I want to go in, enter a room full of demons, and just wreck shop. Like, that is what I want to do. And that is what I'm doing as the Slayer with my 7 different guns so far.
Right.
Nimp, you said you really liked, like, the medieval, like, feel and vibe to it. Have you seen the Pulverizer gun?
I have not.
So the Pulverizer is a gun that he loads with a skull. He puts a skull in the top of it, and it grinds the skull up to fire bits.
Did they have that in previous Doom games?
I have no idea. I cannot remember for the life of me.
Okay, so I think I did see a video of that, and it must have been like a quick promotional video. But yeah, I did see it where it's the grinder, and he just slaps the skull down there, and it just eats it up.
So good.
God, it is.
I love weapon designs so much.
That kind of vibe. There's a different gun that's like a cannon. It fires a cannonball, except the cannonball is attached to a chain and it comes back into your gun.
That's a really cool gun.
Nice.
It's weird. It's fun. It's stupid. It's crazy. It's fast. The the Slayer feels heavy. Like when you do
Mhm.
like even just a little jump and land on the ground, there's a shockwave that goes out from you that just kills every fodder demon in sight,
That's
basically.
great.
Um, all of the levels have like 3 missions in them, which is like, I'll kill 5 fodder demons with 1 shield toss, find this amount of gold
Mm.
on this other sequence, find secret redacted here to
Mhm.
do the thing. And all of the maps do the thing which it's done since 2016, which is like you get close to a secret and it's like there's a question mark here, bro. You might want to,
Mm.
have a look around and see here. I haven't had any issues with getting like 100% on every level. There is upgrades to the weapons.
Don't tell me
There is
that.
still like 4 mechanics that I haven't found yet because I'm not far enough in the game. I
Right.
just got the super shotgun, which, oh boy, I don't think there's been a better super shotgun in a Doom game. I just
Dang.
don't. This thing
That's high
rips.
praise.
It's so good. It's insane how good it is. And I need one more specific type of thing to do the final upgrade, which just increases the amount of projectiles it fires. And it's
That's
like, yeah,
great.
okay, please, and now and thank you. Um, no, it's fun. And the story has been interesting so far. I'm not going to talk about it because honestly, it's confusing.
Mm.
If you played Eternal, then you know all about like the makers and the Sentinels and all of this kind of stuff. The heaven and hell analogy kind of
Mhm.
thing. Maybe watch a lore video before you go in if you really don't want to be
Just
super duper confused like I was. Because like there's a king at the start of this game, and I was like, who's this dude?
uh-huh.
Like, what is going on here? Why is this guy with 8 eyes got me tied in like a cage?
Right.
And like, why is he giving me some super juice to get things going? I don't understand. So I'm currently an hour into a Doom lore video, which was produced before this game came out.
That's wild.
There is a lot going on in that, it's worth saying, and almost all of it doesn't come from the game. It comes from like the audio logs and collectibles and everything. Because if you didn't play 2016, 2016 has got some of the best like open this menu, and not since Mass Effect has there been a better codex, I will say.
Mhm.
Like for the Doom 2016, because the codex in 2016 was great because it's like, oh, by the way, just so you know, demons fear this guy, and there's a reason for that. And
Yeah.
it turns out I'm playing the reason why now.
That's me.
Yes. It's good, it's fun, it's stupid, it's fast, it's energetic, and honestly, I don't have to think too much, which kind of is what I need right now.
Yeah.
So I'm perfectly okay with that. And if you're interested and you just want a nice easy ride, play on the easiest difficulty. Like it's
Yeah.
that simple. Even 2016 had one achievement for doing like one level on the hardest difficulty, and that's it.
Mhm.
They're like, go play. If you're interested in this and you haven't played 2016, go play 2016.
It's really good.
It don't at me for this. I would argue it's the game of that generation. I think
It's way up there.
I can't think of a game that came out in the PlayStation 4, Xbox One era that I like
Yes.
more than Doom 2016.
It's so good.
It is impeccably good.
Yeah.
Go play that. Also, the music in this slaps, but it does not slap the same as Doom 2016. This is part of the problem that Doom is going to have going forwards,
Yeah.
because you've kind of used all of the music that you already know in 2016.
Well, and there's
Like,
that big music-related kerfuffle
yes,
too.
the kerfuffle with the art with the musician and Bethesda, and I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, and speaking
but
of Bethesda,
I mean,
this is on Game Pass too, right?
this is on Game
Okay.
Pass too. Yes. So maybe so is 2016 and so is Eternal. So
Oh,
I'm
that's
just
great.
maybe give them a shot if you're interested in 2016. I cannot recommend it enough. It is
It's really
insane how good that game is.
Yeah.
And Still forever one of my favorite intros is the moment when you're going in that elevator and then it hits the E1M1 track and you cock the shotgun in time with the music.
It's so good.
It is one of the best intros ever to any video game, period. I don't care.
Yep.
Anyway, the only other thing I played was Repo because it was Repo week. Or
Yep.
it was Friday, so it was gameplay week time thing. So, major breakthrough. We almost got a vase.
Okay. I appreciate it.
It was in the trolley at Everton.
Okay. You made it halfway there.
And then Bill broke it. I'm not calling out names, but Bill broke it.
He just happened to be in possession of the vase as it was breaking.
He was also the only person alive, and we needed that vase to get everybody else back alive again. Like, was the unfortunate side of it.
Yeah.
Wah, wah.
Yes. So, we did some stupid stuff in this playthrough. We're starting to learn about some monsters. We're starting to learn about that kind of stuff. We didn't run into the hunter, but we sure run into the laser rabbit, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, a fair few times, and that thing does not mess around in the slightest.
I forgot about that guy.
Yep, he's not great. He's not great at all. That skull really sucks too. Which, if you want some terrifying moments, get chased by that skull and go hide under something and watch him just come and attack you underneath the thing that you're hiding under. Just saying.
Yeah, and his face gets fleshy when he's hunting you down. It's not. I don't care for him.
It is more than creepy.
Yeah.
I am looking into mods because I think if the two other people had showed up last night, Boston didn't. And I'm just pointing that out. Mr. I'll play Repo played it once and never plays it again.
Excuse me. I had a family issue. Thank you very much. Let's not get crappy about it.
But we definitely need the more players mod at least. So I'm probably gonna have to put I've already started building a mod list. It's 10 mods basically. So that includes the more players one, and so just so that if they're including a late join, which means that we don't have to quit the lobby to load the lobby to get people to join in late if they want to.
Sure.
Which I'm fine with. We had enough money that we bought the small cart.
Okay.
At the store. I'm going to use the English term. It's basically a pram. I don't know what you guys... A stroller is what you guys over here call it, I believe.
Yep.
Which was hilarious because people would jump into it and they became the meme of the night was he's just a baby. Because you would get in a cart and then crouch down and it's just you getting pushed around in a stroller essentially. Which the stroller then immediately became the head carrying cart as people got killed.
Oh, sure.
So there was, oops, someone died, put the head in the cart. It's just a baby. My favorite moment was me accidentally dying, and then as I died, spawned into the lobby with everybody else. I was like, I'm just a baby. And then less than a second later, Bill who is alive, says, he's just a baby. And I was just like, yeah, okay. And then that prompted literally Rob and Bill giggling for about 25 minutes while everybody else was giggling quietly to ourselves too in one of the worst runs that we've ever done, essentially.
Oh boy.
We started real strong, we ended real weak. I'll put it that way. I think it was the exhaustion catching up with everybody as the evening went on. But yes, Repo is fun. Repo is now in the loop, I'm assuming, for every game night going forwards. We do hope to see you next time, Boston. I was just pulling your leg / provoking you.
Yeah.
With my comments.
But seriously.
Oh yeah, but seriously, show up, please. Thank you. Love you. And yes, other than that, that's all I've been playing. Mr. Nim, take it away, please. Tell me about your game.
I did not play Repo, so I don't have a dog in the fight one way or the other. So.
I'm just saying, with more lobbies, it's right there with you.
Dude, I don't have time right now. I barely had time for this game, and that game is Alan Wake 2. I don't know how because I only played it yesterday and today, but I managed to beat the game.
Oh, dang. Okay.
So, nice. Yeah. And this wasn't like I was only like an hour. No. This was like, I think my last save when I talked last week, I was at like 10 hours and I beat the game at 20 hours.
Oh, geez.
So, okay. And I also got, for people who care, playing just normally without using a guide and only doing one of the DLCs, I've managed to unlock almost half of the trophies, or half the achievements for it. So it, no, and you eventually get a perk that you can get. Yeah, I'm at 57 out of 88, and that includes all the DLC.
Okay.
There's a perk that you can eventually get. I love the name of these things. The Power of Stuff, and one of the perks within the Power of Stuff is you can have it so that you put one of your points in there, and on your map it just shows you where everything is on a map that you have.
Oh, okay.
So you don't even have to hunt for stuff anymore after a certain point.
That's nice.
So it was very helpful for some of the stuff that I needed. Mostly just trying to scrounge ammo and stuff. I was playing on easy difficulty, and even in that, sometimes ammo would get kind of difficult to find. And I keep forgetting that Alan has the ability to swing his arm. I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, because he's just a writer. He's not an athlete. He's not a war hero.
No, absolutely not.
A
But so running across that was starting to become an issue, and then I did. Let's see. I'm looking at my notes because I'm trying to figure out how I want to talk about this without ruining anything. Because I know you guys are still working on it at some point, and a lot of other people haven't played it either. But I was at a point where I had said last week, you woke up as Alan. I was covered in like blood and guts and stuff. Didn't know how he got there, even as a player, really. You know, what all had just happened. And we get to a part, like this chapter was super short, where all of a sudden FBC just shows up in force. It's like,
okay,
awesome. All right, cool. This is going to be where it gets real interesting, and it does. They end up taking Alan. Hang on, I got to cough real quick.
We're all sort of either too tired or sick, or a combination of both this week.
Both, yeah. Sorry. They end up taking Alan, and you switch back over to Saga, who happens to show up on site as they're taking Alan away. Because they finally have him captured. I forget what they call him, but he's an SCP, basically. So they're trying to contain him, and they're trying to figure out what's going on with the darkness. FBC knows about the darkness. They have countermeasures for the darkness, but they're trying to figure out where it's at right now.
So do I. It's called light.
Yeah. But they bring like a bunch of stuff. So once they get taken away, you're playing a Saga now. I did not switch back and forth between them, even though you do eventually get that option. I was just playing it straight until the game told me, okay, now you need to play as a different character, and then I would switch, and then it would switch me over to that. Doing this, it had made it so that way I had already beaten the game as Saga, but then needed to go back and play Alan Wake. I got the full on, if you continue this mission, this is the end of the game, do you want to continue kind of screen. I was like, yeah, sweet, let's go for this. And then I did that, and then I don't know, and I won't spoil it, but something doesn't happen. The thing that you're trying to do doesn't happen. And I don't know if it was because, like, if I had Alan's story and Saga's story lined up, I don't know if that immediately would have taken off. I assume it would have.
Oh, I see.
But in my story of it, they were like, nothing happened. What's going on? And then it switched me over to Alan.
Interesting.
So I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. I like how they're dependent on each other for this. There is so much role reversal and looping and switching, and like we're basically at the point of time traveling where someone's constantly talking to somebody from the past, and then the past is constantly talking to somebody in the future kind of thing, and you don't know where the anchor point is on where you're at in this rat's nest of a timeline right now. It's not actual time travel, but they just do a lot of time skipping.
They already did one of those games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which was a really
It's
good game.
really good and underrated.
Also, the dude,
really is.
the dude that was I noticed. Been watching The Rookie on TV. It's my hate watch currently. I didn't realize that one of the
Oh yeah,
main
he's in it too.
yeah, one of the main characters in that show is the dude from that. I'm like, I knew. No, he's also Iceman, but like, I knew I recognized
Yeah.
that dude from something. Time travel.
I think
He's
he's
a lawyer
also
in that, right?
He is, yeah.
He's
And
also
I
in
think-
Fringe, by the way. So is
True.
his brother.
True.
I think he is the sheriff in this game for Bright Falls as well.
Oh, that'd be great.
I'm not
He is.
100%, but it's
He is.
okay. I was saying because
He's
his
the-
face all of a
he's
sudden
the
looks
sheriff from Bright
super
Falls.
familiar.
Mhm.
Yep,
He's
Yeah.
in everything. That's great.
Yeah,
It's that Remedy working relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
I know I touched on this when I played Breakpoint, when I played Alan Wake, earlier when I talked about Alan Wake a couple months ago. I absolutely love how we go from the video game graphics that we have to FMV, and it's just the actor. It's just
yeah.
the voice
It's just
actors
that
acting.
dude.
Yeah, they do. The guy who plays Alan Wake, I'm never going to remember his name, does such a good job of looking
So good.
confused. Was it?
Mhm.
Oh yeah, it's like because he gets shifted all the time, and he just shows up in places, and he's got that look of, where am I?
Right. I
What's
guess
going
I'm
on?
here
You know,
now.
yeah, and it's like every time it happens so many times, and every time he does it so great, where he's just super confused and doesn't know what's going on.
Mhm.
And especially with all the other characters too, especially once you get further and further in, and then you start getting more of these cutscenes with more of the actors actually playing themselves in those roles.
Mhm.
I'm like, just make the movie. Like I'm gonna
Right.
watch it.
Right.
So as you continue playing a Saga, it flips. Or I'm sorry, trying to remember. So as I continue playing as Alan, you're flipping back and forth between the Darkness New York version and trying to figure out, okay, who's who, who's doing what. You get introduced to like some different characters. You find out a ton of stuff about Saga, about her mind place. You find out a bunch of stuff about a lot of gods, which had me super stoked. And especially when they start getting into the mind place, and they don't outright tell you what it is, but you start getting a lot of good inklings, and they kind of describe it a little bit on what's happening. But it's like that's kind of like that final piece of the puzzle where it starts to click, and you're like, oh, that now explains this, and this, and why Saga can do this, and this. And
Gotcha.
it's just, I really love it. It is super confusing though at some parts. They do a lot of looping. And what I mean by that is you will come into an area, and then you will get to the end of the area, and you're back at the start of that area. But something has minutely changed.
Oh, okay.
And when you are sick and everything looks almost exactly right,
Right.
you get really confused really quickly on what's going on. Especially when I'm hopped up on meds, and I'm like, I swear I was just in this room, and then you loop again, and you notice, oh, okay, that TV's not there anymore. Huh, I wonder why the
okay.
TV's not there anymore, kind of thing. But then there's like dumb things where it's like, there was one that I was stuck in where it was like an infinite loop. Like you're going down this corridor, and it just keeps looping you back to the start.
Okay.
But
The
I was
Mario
so tired.
64 staircase. It's
Yeah.
just like I'm running for a long time.
I was so tired. I didn't realize, like, man, this is like a really long hallway. What's going on? And I'm like, I've seen that sign before. Loops. There's that sign again. What's going on? Loops again.
Snake
Oh, I'm in a loop.
eater.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they do that a lot. Ati has scared me twice.
Perfect.
You are in an area. I looked at a door. There wasn't anybody in this area. I turn around. Ati just starts talking before I even see him and scared the hell out of me. And then, a couple hours later, does it again to me, where no one's around. I check something. I turn around, and he's just there and starts talking to me. I'm like, dude, you need to stop this.
You gotta stop this, man.
But he's great being around. He's just as he has such a weird role to play in this, where he seems to be a part of what's happening, but he's kind of outside of it as well. Where it seems like at any given time, dude could just walk out of the scenario and be perfectly fine. And that's what I really love about Ati, especially when he keeps throwing like all of these old like Soviet Union references and stuff like that, and his English is broken up enough where it's like he can speak English fine, but he doesn't get like sayings correctly.
Yeah.
So like he'll start spouting something, and you're like, I have no clue what you're talking about, but that doesn't sound good, so we'll go with that. There is one thing I'm going to mention this mission, and I'm not going to go into what it's about, but you end up in a mission that the goal that you have to check off is perform in the musical.
This is, I think, the thing that most people have heard about, but I think most of us that haven't played it that are going to have been staying away from it.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
I've super
heard it's
confusing.
great.
If you get lost, I highly suggest looking up a guide, because this was another one where it plays normally, but parts of it turn into loops, and you have to pay attention to what you're following. And if you're hopped up on meds, it's not readily apparent about, okay, this just changed, but why did it change? And then when I looked up a guide, and it's like, oh yeah, do this, and I'm like, oh, it was sitting there this entire time,
Right.
and I just didn't notice and kept walking by it. So
Right.
Oh god. But yeah, so outside of performing the musical, it starts picking up pretty quickly after that. There are tons of flashes in here too, and I know they have the warnings at the start of the game, but if you're impacted by flashes and stuff like that, I would double check the settings on this to make sure that you can not have that impact you, because there have been a lot of times where there were flashes going off. I'm like, oh my god, that is super bright, and it's really searing into my eyes. But got through, beat the game. Once you have beaten the game, you unlock New Game Plus, which is not called New Game Plus, it's called the Final Draft.
Okay.
And I took a picture of it because it's New Game Plus, but they add a bunch of stuff. Let me grab, where's the screenshot? Here we go. Final Draft is New Game Plus mode. It introduces new lore, narrative changes, and a new ending, allowing players to revisit the game with all their weapons and upgrades while experiencing an expanded story.
Interesting. Okay.
So I didn't look into any more what it was. I just saw the Final Draft pop up after I beat the game. I was like, oh, what's that? I assumed it was New Game Plus, but seeing that it has a bunch of extra stuff in it, I'm like, oh, that is really cool, and I am not going to look any of that up because I don't want to get spoiled on it.
Yeah, and from what I understand, that came out after the game had been released.
Yes.
Like that was a patch after the fact, and people were
okay.
not too happy about that.
Interesting.
Yeah. Whatever. This reminded me though too. Last week I was complaining about how come people don't do Game of the Year things that come with all the DLC, and I forgot the Alan Wake game physical does come with all the DLC.
Right.
It's just the Xbox Series, what do they call this?
Deluxe edition, I think?
Deluxe edition. Yeah, I guess we're just calling it Deluxe now. So
It's deluxe.
So it's like I have not played, there's the Lake House. And there was one more that I haven't played. Oh, the Night Springs stuff. I played one of the Night Springs ones, but apparently there's more than one, and you can play those as soon as you find the Night Springs one. It'll tell you, hey, you can do the Night Springs stuff, or you can access this from the main menu as well and play it at any time.
From what I remember, the Night Spring stuff is mostly like side story kind of things. They're not really like finish the game and then do this afterwards thing. It's kind of built in.
Yeah, from my understanding, my limited understanding of this, it sounds like it starts to get more into Mr. Door, which is a whole other character that is super awesome that I want more of. But yeah, so I went through, beat the game, and I might do the DLCs now. They're not very long. Yeah, they're not very long, and everything that I read about them said that they're supposed to be great. So it's like, all right, cool. I might check those out. I have no interest in getting all these shoots for this game. I'm just glad that I got to beat it before any of it got spoiled for me, because it does go a lot of places, and it starts shoving like a ton of stuff at you at the end, and it's all very good, but it's a lot to take in after a little bit. So Alan Wake 2, if you have not picked it up or played it yet, you should. It is a great game, and it's got me super pumped for the new game that they got coming out.
Firebreak?
Yeah, FBC Firebreak, yeah.
And it's got me super pumped seeing FBC stuff again to play another Control game.
Yep.
So yeah, that's all I've been playing this week.
All right, I got 3 games here. First up is Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Played, I don't know, maybe 2 more hours of this, I think. I made it through kind of the back part of that first dungeon I was in, that kind of tutorial dungeon, and got dumped into, surprisingly, a world map, which is kind of a surprise for RPGs nowadays. It's it kind of reminds me of kind of a classic JRPG map where you're really big on a regular sized map and the enemies are really big, so everything's kind of scaled to the wrong size. So that was kind of neat. It's a little hard to tell where you're supposed to go. There are a couple of points where you can investigate. There are like big enemy fights on the map of like, here's a challenging enemy and it'll be protecting a rare loot drop and stuff like that. I wish the game was a little bit clearer about like, look for this kind of swirly portal and that's going to be where you enter the next dungeon, essentially. It took me a little while because they were like, go to the north and there's this this weird looking coral, and it's true, there was a bunch of weird looking coral, but I didn't know how to get in there. The next dungeon was odd. I'm now seeing the game's kind of surrealism put forward. That dungeon was an underwater dungeon, but you're not underwater, really. Like, everything looks like it's floating. There's a bunch of sea mines and like shipwrecks and stuff like that are floating, but you guys aren't underwater. Like, there's none of that, but you're fighting like enemies that have sea mines as balloons and stuff like that. It's odd.
But are you adjusting water levels throughout the dungeon?
No,
then
which is
not a true water dungeon.
It's not a real water dungeon.
Yeah, it's really weird that like everything looks underwater, but it isn't one. It's I know that so much of the game is supposed to be you're running from like one surreal thing to another, but it's interesting. And I thought that dungeon was okay. I am really already at the beginning of this game, I am really struggling with the fact that there is no map in this game whatsoever in dungeons. In the overworld, like the world map, it's fine because you can kind of see everything. It's not big enough, at least at the beginning. Yeah. And I get why, especially in RPGs, they don't want to have mini maps, but not having a map is already kind of irking me quite a bit. And it's not, these dungeons aren't impossible because so much of them are like, you're going through this straight tunnel. There are 2 paths. One is going to bring you down to like a rare loot drop, and usually that one's going to be the one that you have to do platforming on or do like use the grappling hook to traverse, and then the other one's just going to be kind of a straight shot. But it's still that sort of thing of like, all right, did I miss anything in there? Did I miss any, like, it's an interesting system in this game called Pictos, where you're picking up these loot drops and you can equip skills onto your character, where like when you do like a gun attack, there's like a free aim gun sort of shot thing where you can aim with a gun and shoot enemies for some reason, and there's a Picto where it's like 25% of the time you'll set the enemy on fire. And those are kind of neat. I like the system where after you finish, I think it's like 4 battles on average, you learn that Picto permanently, and you can equip it to anybody in your party, no matter if they've equipped that item or not. So,
oh wow, okay. I figured it was like Final Fantasy IX, where it's like each individual character had to learn that from the item.
Right, and thankfully it's not. And you can only equip each one of those to one person, so it is restrictive in a way that feels fair. But that was my thing too. I was like, oh, you're just lifting the like weapon learning system from Final Fantasy IX, but no, like you've equipped this thing, you fight. I think it's around 4 battles, and they're like, okay, you've just learned this thing where it's like, if you attack a marked enemy, you have a chance to do X, Y, or Z, and you can equip that to anybody. So I think that makes build crafting feel a little bit more interesting, I think, because you're kind of scooping up all these pictos and learning them, and it's like, oh, okay, well, this character... Another interesting thing about this game is each character you're getting fights completely differently. So, like, the first character you get, Gustav, he has the metal arm I talked about where he's building up an overcharge, and the higher the overcharge is, the more damage you do. The second character you pick up, she is like building up these 4 symbols, and based on how many symbols, you can have an option to like attack again or do double damage or do X, Y, or Z based on that. The third character I picked up, she has a number of stances, and she's switching between stances all the time. Where it's like, this one's more defensive, so you do 50% less damage, but you take 50% less damage. Or this one, you take a bunch of extra damage, but you do 200% extra damage. And you do an attack to switch into that stance, and then once you do an attack in that stance, based on the attack you do, you switch into a different one. So you're kind of juggling. It's kind of neat because you can then take these pictos you learned and really make a build for each one of these characters. But it also means that I think the battle system is maybe a little bit more complex than I was expecting it to be. Because when you look at it, you look at something like Lost Odyssey, you look at it like something as Super Mario RPG, and you think, okay, well, you're going to be doing the dodging, the parrying. I ran into an enemy that you have to jump over their attack, like the entire party needs to jump over the attack and in the air hit a different button to parry it. I gotta be honest, I'm having a hard time with this game. There's something about it that really isn't clicking with me in a way that I'm kind of surprised by, because everything that people are talking about, there's, when you start pulling apart a lot of the feedback from this game, you sort of discard the people that are saying RPGs are trash, this is another trash RPG, that doesn't matter. You take the outliers of like, people are saying this is the best this is the only good RPG that's been released since Chrono Trigger. You discard those kind of ones and tens. A lot of people are really clicking with this game in a way that I'm finding it hard for me to get to, and I'm not sure. I think part of it is the story. I think the story is really great, but I think everybody in the story already knows each other. So there's so much stuff in this game where people are referencing stuff that they know already, but I don't know any of that stuff because I just started. But like, they have all these existing relationships in a way that I think builds the world in an interesting way. Because for a lot of reasons, like almost every kid is in an orphanage. So they have all this like orphanage history together, but like I wasn't there for that. So that is a little bit frustrating of like, oh, remember that time? And I'm like, no, I don't, man. Like I've been playing for 2 or 3 hours. Like what do you, I don't even know what you're talking about. And I think so much of the systems and so much of this game is kind of, it's like a burr in your shoe. It's not really hurting you or anything, but it's just kind of irritating me, where it's like, okay, this battle system is like fine, but like everybody's always like, oh, well, so there's a dodge and there's a parry. The window for dodging is really big. If you perfect dodge, you get 1 action point. If you do a perfect parry and you parry every attack that an enemy sends towards you, you do a counterattack, which does a lot of damage. But the windows for the parries are really tight, and it is hard to tell how to parry enemies. And the thing that I've heard from so many people is like, oh, you just need to listen for the sound. Everything plays a sound. Maybe I'm half deaf, but I can't hear any sound. So like, I'm not entirely sure where that's coming from.
Is listen for the sound the new get good?
I think that is it, and like, I appreciate the game having such a big dodge window, because so much of like, there's that kind of famous meme video of someone in like a real life person playing Clair Obscur 33 and fighting a big bunny rabbit that keeps like winding up an attack and the attack doesn't land. Game really does feel like that, where like an enemy will jump at you and you'll dodge. They'll be like, oh, that wasn't the attack, they're just getting closer. And then they take like a couple seconds to wind up their spear, and it's like, okay, I'm dodge. Nope, that wasn't. Nope, that was okay. That wasn't. And then he hits you, and it's like, oh, okay, fine. So like, as you go through a dungeon and you learn the enemies that are in the dungeon, you learn their weak points to shoot with your gun to kind of like potentially do damage to a whole bunch. Like the little floating enemies that are using a sea mine as a balloon. You shoot the sea mine, it blows up and it damages all the enemies on the field. And you can do that as many times as there are enemies. So that stuff feels really good, but it's just kind of all not clicking for me yet, in a way that I'm a little frustrated, because part of it I think is me, of like, I think I need to really just sit down and play this game for a longer period to just get further into it and try to get past these issues that are frustrating me at the beginning. But also, as a person that really likes to scour every part of the dungeon, and also admittedly will fight a random enemy and then just get completely turned around once you get back out of the fight, where you're like, where was I wait, I was trying to go, oh man, where did I go? Like I find that stuff honestly pretty frustrating. So I'm not ready at this point to just stop playing it, as the number of people that love this game means that there's likely something there. I just haven't gotten there yet, I don't think.
You just have to hit that 20-hour mark.
Yeah, it gets really good at like chapter 13. So we'll see. I as I start kind of figuring out the end of the last game I'm talking about here, I think I might have more time to dedicate to this. Also, it's really not kid friendly, and it relies so much on the sound of it, and like the soundtrack is really great and the voice acting is really great. Like Charlie Cox of Daredevil fame is the main character here, and he does a really great job.
Oh, nice.
And like all the voice acting is really good. It's just that the two of those things combined are not really conducive to playing around a kid. So
yeah,
I'll try and stick with it and see if I can get there, and hopefully I can. So
I was gonna say, my son actually beat this game this past week, which was kind of why I was pushing so hard with Alan Wake, because I was like, I really want to play this.
Yeah.
But I can't leave Alan Wake on the table again for another couple months, because then I'll completely lose track of what's happening.
Right.
So I might try to give this a go. I'm still trying to figure out how to play my PlayStation, because I have too many PlayStations. So
oh, right.
It's being stupid, but yeah. I'll figure something out.
Next game here, Forza Horizon 5. I think this game has sort of moved into my I need something to play for half an hour game, of like, all right, I need to play some, like, I played a bunch of Clair Obscur, and I need to play something different, and I'm just gonna do a couple of races, or I'm gonna try and get a 5-star on this what's the trail PR things they do? Trailblazers, thank you. I'm gonna try and 3-star this Trailblazer, or I'm gonna do one of the ridiculous trophies that they have, of like, take a picture of this car at this time of day with the butterflies, or get a 3-star jump in this ridiculous 1970s van, or things like that. So there's still a metric ton of stuff. I did the 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 donut high-low sequence this week, which is basically you do one thing and then it breaks into two separate 5-chapter things. There's a high set and there's a low set.
Yeah, you have to pick your team.
Yeah,
I think that was the last thing I did on the Xbox thing the last time I played it.
Still really not like I don't know. I don't know who these dudes are. Can I please get an option to skip all of this talking stuff? Like I don't really care about what a high car or a low car means. I don't know anything about any of these cars. Please just give me
how much money you sink into it is the long and short of it.
Oh, okay. So like,
but if I remember correctly, though, they do like their whole YouTube voicing.
They really do.
Super annoying.
And like, there is some fun stuff because both of their cars, both of the cars you're driving in each one of the storylines break down, and you do have to drive a tow truck, like a flatbed tow truck. And I do like when the game does that. Like, there's one of the festival things where you do, anyone hasn't played this, every time you start a new festival you have to like go to a place and then race to where the festival is going to be, and then you usually do like a special race. One of them is you just drive a float, like a giant huge like parade float, and then you eventually jump it off of a danger sign. I like when you have to drive the wacky stuff, and I liked that both of them was like, okay, this car broke down and it's like it's shooting out smoke, get on the flatbed, let's drive the flatbed. I think that's pretty cool.
I wish they did like, well, this comes to mind because this past, I think it was Friday, NASCAR did it where all the Wiener mobiles was racing in the Indianapolis 500.
Okay.
And I'm like, why isn't that in Forza? Why isn't the Wienermobile?
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's the license thing. I want to drive the Wienermobile. Like, yeah, I don't know. There's some fun stuff. Like we were talking about, I think it was last week, about the VW bug stuff, and some of the Hot Wheels stuff I think is pretty good. Some of the Hot Wheels story stuff in there feels a little bit too much like a PowerPoint presentation of like, I'm glad you asked about why the tracks are orange in 1975. It's like stop. But like that's pretty few and far between, and I get it. If you're Hot Wheels and you get an opportunity to be in another Forza Horizon game, then like do but a little bit of a sales pitch. That's fine. But yeah, a lot of I probably won't talk about this every week, but this was me kind of like putting a bow on this. I'll probably talk about it once I hit like a milestone or something, where I start the Rally DLC, or I finish the Hot Wheels DLC or something like that. But it's great. I still I've only run into one issue with this game once on the PS5, and it hard crashed, and it just crashed back to dashboard. But that's the only time I've had that happen. So it's great. It works really great on PS5 if you haven't played it before. All of the Forza Horizon games are good and getting better, and I'm curious to see what happens with 6 whenever that comes out. So last game I have, of course, Blueprints. I have hit like a
hang on,
go ahead.
Is this the PC one or your PS5 one?
So thank you for reminding me. It's my PS5 one. They released a patch this past week where they and Sony solved the problem and did find out the whatever the save issue was that they were working on. So thankfully, once that came out, I like played 2 days and then I saved and quit and went back in, and everything was fine. So that patch came out and it was really great. They also did a bunch of quality of life improvements at the same time, which I thought was really great. One of the biggest ones is, this isn't a spoiler, but there's a bunch of safes you find around the house, and every time you wanted to open those up, because they always have a gem in them, every time you wanted to open those up, you'd have to put the safe code in there. So like you had 5 or 6 of them that you kind of memorized, and it's like, okay, this is the room, go to the safe, boop 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 boop, and then the safe opens up. If you've opened those ever in the game, they're just permanently open now, so you just walk up, grab the gem, and keep on going. So there's a bunch of improvements like that. The rest of the patch notes are all spoilers. And like even in the Steam patch notes, they're all just the like spoiler where you have to click on them to reveal them. A lot of them are really, really good, and I think they made a lot of really smart choices for a lot of quality of life stuff. They also nerfed one thing, which I think was really smart. You could basically, how to explain this? You could basically use a room to get infinite steps and then take advantage of another system to kind of break the game open. It was really only very, very late game, so like if they wouldn't have fixed it, it would have been fine. But I appreciate the fix that they put in. They struck a really good middle ground. They didn't outright remove it, and they didn't leave it. They found a really good middle ground. But I'm kind of at the point now where I am definitely reaching the end of this game. The thing that I think is really great about Blueprints, and the thing that I will push back on, the biggest complaint that I see people say for this game is the RNG is unnecessary. But I think they're playing it like The Binding of Isaac instead of playing it like a puzzle game. So they're thinking that every run can be won, but that's not really the point. To kind of put it bluntly, the point is, on every run, you have 5 to 10 puzzles you're working on, and in each run, unless you get atrocious luck of the draw, which will definitely happen, you're kind of making progress on a bunch of stuff. And sometimes that progress is, I filled out some more information in my notebook and I saw something new that I hadn't seen before. I didn't get back to room 46 on this one, but I learned something new. That should really be kind of your focus in the mid game of this game. To be clear, your very first objective is reach room 46. Your second objective is go back to room 46 and then figure out the kind of mid game puzzles. I've seen a lot of people say like, I got to room 46, that game was great. And it's like, no, hold on, you gotta go back. And there's a bunch of stuff you're opening up here, which I do wish the game was a little bit better on encouraging people to kind of get back there. But now that I'm at the point, the number of puzzles I'm working on during a run has kind of gotten knocked down to a very small number now. So I'm looking for kind of very specific things when I'm going through, and the number of things I've unlocked in the manor and around the manor is kind of like, okay, I'm definitely getting to the end of this thing. And I did verify that as well, because I had to look up my second thing that I had to look up this week. The first one was it's not a spoiler, but the first one was the gallery, the art gallery. I don't know how I was supposed to solve that puzzle. I think I understand the solution now that I looked it up. If anybody goes in that and tries that puzzle, if you're spending more than 20 minutes on it and you're getting frustrated, please just look it up. I don't think the solution, I don't think the reward for that puzzle, the reward for the puzzle is opening another puzzle that I think is way more interesting. Getting frustrated on that puzzle, I don't think is totally worth it. And it makes sense because I was looking this week, and the director of Blueprints was greatly inspired by a book that was, it's essentially the book version of Blueprints from the 70s or 80s, I think it was. And it was basically like, you need to find room 45 in this book, and you're kind of flipping back and forth and solving puzzles to find other puzzles hidden inside of each picture. The guy who wrote that book made that puzzle, and it feels like it's a bigger step up from the rest of the puzzles you're doing. in a way that I think for me felt kind of frustrating.
I thought you were gonna say that this was based off of like that House of Leaves book,
No,
which I was like, oh my
thankfully.
god.
Like, oh
I
God,
mean,
what
that
have
was a
they
fun
done?
book, but yeah, it's
Yeah,
like that was really intense.
yeah. So I did have to look up another puzzle that's super end game. I got to the solution, and when I figured out the solution, I was looking at my notebook and I was like, this is gibberish. So
The notebook or the solution?
the solution. My notebook is definitely gibberish, but it makes sense to me. Um, so I'm like looking at the solution. I was like, this just doesn't, like, none of these words make sense. Okay, I'm gonna look it up because I don't want this thing to be the thing that stops me from finishing this game. And most of the time, when you solve a puzzle, you're like, oh, okay, this thing, I know what this is. I've seen this elsewhere in the game. I'm not going to spoil it, but like usually, as soon as you like take that next step, all the other pieces of the game sort of fall in place, and you're like, oh, if I flip back in my notebook, I wrote this down 30 hours ago. Now that finally makes sense. Okay, now I can go solve this puzzle. When I wrote this solution down, I was like, this doesn't mean anything. It does mean something. I just didn't put the pieces together, and I'm not sure I would have realized that this thing I had seen in the game was the solution for this thing. So I'm glad I looked it up, and that it appears that essentially that is the end of, like, marching towards the end of this game.
Is this one of those things where you think maybe writing your notes in something like OneNote where you can search it and be like it showed up in the thing Ivory Dice? It's like, wait, I did something with Ivory Dice 5 hours ago. What was it? And you just type it in and
No,
find
because
it.
like part of my enjoyment of the game is having the notebook that I'm writing in pencil and erasing stuff and scribbling stuff and like drawing pictures in the margins of like, oh yeah, I don't know how to describe this thing in text. I'm just gonna draw what it looks like, and my like horrible, I'm super terrible at art. So like my kind of like scribbles and artistic attempts, to me that's part of the fun of it, is kind of like, oh, I unlocked this new thing. Let me flip back a couple pages, and I have a heading of like, this is the thing I saw in this section, and I wrote it down of like, this thing looks like this question mark, and I can write a little arrow next to it and be like, this is the solution to this, and everything can kind of come together. So like, there are a lot of people that are writing it in, a lot of people seem to like, I think it's called Notation, that program, where it's like, okay, I have taken a screenshot of this thing and I've cropped what this is. I'm going to write a little note next to it. Okay, cool. I'm going to start a new notebook for this puzzle or this room or this thing, and I'm going to take a bunch of like, I think if that works for you, I think that's a really great way of doing it. But just, I was flipping back through my notebook. The other two games I have in there are Animal Well, which is a very similar thing, and the metagame for UFO 50. So like, I really like having this physical thing that I have my pencil with and kind of doing. But like the game very much tells you in the beginning, you do really need something. Take screenshots of everything, write down everything. You're really gonna appreciate it. You know, I'm at hour 80 now, and you're really, and to be honest, some of those hours are me just with my notebook, like paging back through and being like, okay, well, if it's this is this, then that means this needs to be that. If that's this, then this is, and that whole thing. So,
I mean, that sounds like a very lucrative thing of if you guys are donating $10 or more, you get direct scans of
that's right.
Boston strategy guides.
That's right, my blueprint strategy guide. But because I solved one of those big puzzles, and I got all of the information I could glean from those puzzles and sort of stuff all around the mansion, I solved another large puzzle, and solving that first puzzle actually got me a trophy. and I have 9 of the 16 trophies now, and that trophy actually, I was surprised. Only 1.1% of people got that trophy, and it makes sense because you need to gather so much information and use kind of figure out a ton of different puzzles at the same time. But man, that stuff paying off felt so good, and that immediately paying off into something else felt really, really great. So I'll talk about more blueprints as I get deeper into it, but of course, no spoilers. Again, if you haven't played blueprints, number one, you should. Number two, after you find room 46, go back there again and get the rest of the 3/4 of the game, please. If you get to room 46 and you see the ending and you realize you're done, that's fine. But I think you should also really give the rest of the game a shot. I tried a different mode. I have 2 other modes. There's 4 really tough trophies in this game. One of them is reach room 46 on the first day. I haven't even tried to do that yet. Although I think I know how to do it. The other one is reach room 46 within an hour of actual time on your first day. So you should be getting both of those at the same time anyway. And the other 2 are 2 different modes, so you can make multiple save files. One of them is curse mode. I don't know what that is. I haven't started that yet. I know how to start it. I don't want to do it yet. The other one is dare mode. And this one's really interesting because it starts you on a brand new save, and the game gives you 4 dares. And there's a piece of paper. This isn't a spoiler, but it gives you a piece of paper at the beginning that says, I dare you to reach for room 46 without failing any of the following dares. And it gives you 4 challenges to do. And if you fail to meet any of the requirements, you lose your game completely. And you have to start a brand new save file over. So I took a screenshot of the very first one I got, because I think the first one I got is impossible, if not incredibly, ridiculously challenging. Dare 1, I dare you to never exit the house from the entrance hall, which is really hard. Not impossible. Dare 2, I dare you to always pick the first floor plan while drafting in the entrance hall. So the 3 doorways from the entrance hall, as soon as it gives you 3 options, you have to pick the one on the left. Not impossible, kind of annoying. Dare 3, I dare you to never ride elevators. That one, combined with Dare 1, I don't know how you beat the game. I'm sure there's a super obscure version, or I could maybe beat it if I spent 40 hours doing it. That was the one where I was like, yeah, I don't think this one is gonna happen. And then the 4th one is, I dare you to press no more than 1 switch or button in each utility closet. So it's a really cool mode that I think is a really great challenge of how well do you know this game, that you're starting from the beginning, you have no upgrades, you have no unlocks, anything like that. How well do you know this game, and how well do you know its systems to kind of get around these restrictions that have been put on you? And I think it's neat as an almost if we want to use the we roguelike it parlance of a daily run or a challenge run. I like that they have their own kind of challenge run version of that. So I'd like to try that at some point. The rest of the trophies that I have are all super spoilers, and I think they're all too spoilery to talk about on the show. But I like the idea of there being these kind of additional challenges here. So we'll see how my eventual winning run goes for dare mode, but it seems cool so far. All right, before I spoil anything else, that's Blueprints. Everybody should go play it. It's really great. That's all I've been playing this week. Let's take a break.
Yup.
I did want to mention a short production note here for anybody that's listening. Since I got no sleep last night, I'm gonna edit these episodes as soon as we're done here. So if you guys can upload them as soon as we're done, that would help me.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
I know you guys like 99.9% of the time do. I just wanted to say it out loud so I don't have
This
to
one time.
bother you in half an hour and be like, please, my MP3s.
Yeah, if I don't get it out now, it's not getting out tonight because
Yeah.
I am also planning on just passing it.
Yeah. Okay, are you guys ready to race through the rest of this?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Let's start with releases in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of May 26th, 2025. Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo comes out. PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series Console, Switch, and PC. This is a really, really cool looking 2D top-down kind of action adventure sort of thing. Looks really, really movement-based in a way that if you haven't seen this, really go look at the trailer. I think a lot of the kind of movement tech they have in this game looks really neat. A lot of like walking the dog with a yo-yo, and it's sort of making your character run at the same time, and like bouncing your character off of a like a rock and bouncing the other way. It looks really cool. So I hadn't heard about this game before, but this looks pretty neat overall. Next game here, To a T, comes out PS5, Series Consoles, and PC. Potentially the last Annapurna game? Question mark. This is the latest Keita Takahashi game, the Katamari Damacy and Nobi Nobi Boy developer. I don't like with any of the rest of his games. I have no idea how to describe this game. Everybody in this game is T-posing all the time, and you're kind of just trying to figure out how to navigate the world as a bunch of teens that are T-posing. I don't know, man. I'm sure it's an incredible and surprisingly touching game, like a lot of his other games. I don't know how to accurately describe any of what I am seeing in any of the footage or screenshots that I've seen in this game. So that's To a T. Whatever it's gonna be, man. I don't know. Next game here, Fuga Melodies of Steel 3 comes out PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series Console, Switch, and PC. This appears to be... I didn't realize that they're just making a trilogy out of these games. I thought with how successful they are, I thought they would just kind of continue to make these games forever. But they said this is the end of the trilogy. I didn't play the second one yet, as much as I have really wanted to, so I'm not sure what story-wise is going on in this one, but a lot of what they've shown off so far has been a ton of quality of life stuff for this game, like they did when they put out the second one, of kind of like, hey, all that stuff that was annoying in the first one, we fixed it in the second one, and it seems like it's the same one here, of like, hey man, all that stuff was driving you nuts in the previous one, fixing that stuff too. So
At some point I got to get back to the second one.
Yeah, I really got to start it. I just bought it. It was on super sale recently, and I just picked it up, and I haven't. Also, contrary to how it looks, very much not a kid-friendly game. It's the amount of violence against small furry children in these games is distressing.
Because I think I got 2 hours into the second one, and that was when everything started going sideways. I'm like, well, this is getting real heavy real quick.
Yeah, so I'll eventually pick this up because I really loved that first one, and I really want to play the second one before I get into this one. So next game here, very similar game, Disney Illusion Island, comes out on PS5, Series Consoles, and PC. This is that 2D side-scrolling multiplayer kind of movement-based Disney game that came in on Switch 2 years ago. I think it was 2023, and it had been long enough that I thought that was just going to be a Switch exclusive, but it's coming out on PS5 and Series Consoles and PC now. I bought a copy of this hoping that my family and I could play it, and we haven't gotten around to it yet. But people seem to really like this before, so I'm curious to see if it'll have kind of a second life here on these other non-Switch consoles. But we'll see. Seems neat. Big release this week. Elden Ring Night Rain comes out. PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series consoles, and PC. If you somehow haven't heard of this, this is not an Elden Ring DLC or sequel. It's sort of a sequel, but it's a 3-player co-op online sort of battle royale Elden Ring. You're not like fighting against other people, but you are kind of racing against a closing ring as you do Elden Ring from Software business. Still, just this is still a wild thing that I love the swings that From Software does of like, yeah, now we're playing a multiplayer Elden Ring one. Get your friends together. It's like, oh, sure, yeah, okay, I guess, sure.
Yep.
This is not a free game. Just to be explicitly clear, I believe it's $40 on every platform, and it's not on Game Pass or PS Plus that I have seen at time of recording.
It's just one of those games that Miyazaki was just like, yeah, why not?
Yeah, we're doing this now. I guess we're doing.
We have the
triangles now.
assets. Let's redo it.
Yeah. So it seems like a game that's really cool. I think if you have, it's one of those games we were talking about on Pup this past month. I think if you have a dedicated crew of 3 people that plays games regularly, that really loves this genre, I bet this is like the game that I'm looking forward to for this is FBC Firebreak. I think if you have a crew like that loves these games, this is probably like Christmas for you guys. But that ain't me. It sounds super cool, and I like that they're doing it, but that's not me, and that's not my crew.
I can just imagine this being nothing but straight chaos, because it already is when it's just a single player game.
Right,
so.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, very curious to see how this is received and reviewed. I hope it does well, because I think it's a cool idea. And last but not least, Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma comes out on Switch and PC. It's a new Rune Factory game. A lot of their marketing around this is beloved by Rune Factory fans along the globe. This new game is taking a bold new direction, and Guardians takes place in a never-before-seen eastern country of Azuma. It's a lot of it is like, hey, we have a new setting. So I'm sure there's like, with any of these games,
if it's still the same Rune Factory, then great.
Yeah, exactly. And like, with any of these games, especially these kind of like farming or lifestyle simulation games, I'm sure there's 100 different little quality of life and improvement things that, like, if you're really into these games, is a huge improvement. I am not deep enough in any of these games from like a self-protection standpoint to really know. So like for me, it's like, oh, cool, it looks different this time. But like beyond that, I like that's not really. I'm not gonna be able to tell you what's cool here or not. So I'm busy building my village in AC Shadows. Thank you very much. I don't need to build another village. Although this village building does look pretty cool. My big weakness. Anyways, that's the brand new Rune Factory game. We do have one quick news story here this week that is disappointing yet not surprising. Sony says that they are ending and winding down their PlayStation Stars program. Starting this past week when they announced it, you cannot sign up for PlayStation Stars anymore, and the program will fully end on November 2nd, 2026. You can continue to redeem points up until that date. You won't be able to earn any more points or any of the collectibles or whatever at July 23rd of this year. They put out a really typical boilerplate like PR statement at this point of just like, we've learned a lot from running the PlayStation, blah 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 blah. The real disappointing thing is I've saved a ton of cash this year by using the rewards points of like, hey, you bought this game, you got 100 points, and then it's the same thing as the Microsoft system. So you get enough points, you can get a gift card, etc. The real disappointing thing for me is that they're not replacing that with anything right now. And I think that's a real bummer because I think it's a really good system. And I think a lot of it is really solid, and not being able to replace that with something else, I think is a real missed opportunity.
I was say Nintendo did the same thing when they got rid of I don't remember if it was the gold or the platinum coins that they
one
have.
of those, yeah. I think it was the platinum coins, yeah. That was a bummer too, and I just like, it's one of those things of like, look, I buy like 10 games and I get a $5 PlayStation gift card in my wallet. This cannot be hurting your business. Like from a consumer perspective, please at least just attempt to throw me some crumb of me being like, yay, I got a gift card, woohoo, yay. Like, it doesn't mean anything, but like, it's a bummer and look, let's be incredibly clear. When they announced this system, it really seemed like these collectibles were NFTs, and I really think the death of NFTs that was the little domino, and the big domino is this system getting shut down. Because I think without them having a way to monetize this over an extended period of time, I think that was kind of the death knell for this whole system. Which is a bummer. It was fun every once in a while to be like, I played the new God of War and I got Kratos' axe. Cool. That's fun. But like, that's the part of this system.
Well, then like the campaigns and stuff that they would throw in there too.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, get this get this trophy, and now you have your little token, or
you
whatever
like
you were just talking about.
Swan's camcorder from Bloom and Rage. It's like, that's cool. Like, I didn't really do anything with them,
That's the stuff I miss about the avatars from the Xbox 360 days.
Exactly.
It was great when you get like a little achievement. It's like, congratulations, now you have the Left 4 Dead health pack as like a little avatar.
Yeah,
thing.
like,
yep.
I'm still wearing Alan Wake's like jacket and scarf from the first game. Like,
I am still in the Colossus armor from, oh god, what was the game with that you were basically Iron Man from Bethesda?
Oh god.
Iron Man?
No.
I don't remember what that's called now. Now that you asked the question.
Avowed.
Yes. Yeah.
No, not Avowed.
No,
what am I
Avowed
thinking?
just came out. Yeah.
That's all new.
Yeah. Well, he'll look it up here. But I think that for me is the kind of bummer of the system is there is no Avatar equivalent on the PlayStation platform. Like the only thing you have is like your like PlayStation icon, like mine is BB, of course. So there's like you have this kind of display case where you can show I think it's like 12 or 15 of your kind of favorite collectibles, but that doesn't really do anything. It's not like avatars on the Xbox side where it's like, okay, here is me, and I have the Left 4 Dead, the health pack, which is the one that I really liked. Shane,
Anthem.
Shane B in chat says Anthem. Yes,
I just found it as I saw it come across. Yeah. So I'm still rocking that.
Anthem, by the way, somehow still running. Would not have predicted that.
It's a good game. It just needed some fixes, some light touches, and some more content.
And EA said,
"That's all.
I'm good."
Yeah.
So I think that's a real bummer. Of like, I wouldn't mind my PlayStation avatar to have Swan's camcorder like slung over their back. That would be pretty cool. But that was never the system, which we talked about it when it came out, and it still lends credence to like, oh, you made this when you thought NFTs could work, and then at the last minute you were like, well, NFTs, I've never heard of her. What are those? That sounds like a dumb idea. Anyways, digital collectibles. So that whole thing is kind of a bummer. I hope, my optimistic hope, putting aside my realism and pessimism right now, is that a similar system to the at least the points system and the like earning the gift cards. You could also, like, if you had 1,500 points, you could just buy a copy of Dredge or Cult of the Lamb or whatever. Like, you could also use those points to just outright buy games too, which and some DLC packs too, which I thought was pretty good too. I would really like there to be some system replacing that to come out at some point soon. But it's Sony, so probably not, regrettably. Yeah. All right, that's all our news stories this week, which means we're at the end of our episode. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. TVGP.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page. We mentioned the Patreon, E1M1.cash earlier.
The ones are the numbers.
$5 a month tiers are recommended one. If you can't support us financially, totally understand. Please rate us on your podcatcher if you're available. That helps so much for people to for the algorithm to send us send them our show. Man, I'm crashing here. Do review that, like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, all that stuff. Everything is on the website. Discord.
One of the chat said Anthem. Is that the game you were thinking of?
Yeah, we already discussed that. Yeah. And we already gave them credit for pointing it out because I found it at the same time they put it in chat.
Okay,
we're all very
confused, man.
we're all
Bethesda game.
Look, just 5 more minutes, man. We just need to make 5 more minutes.
For you, yes.
That's right. We have a ranking to do here. Shockingly, I'm asking someone to rank something here. Over on We Roguelike It at WeRoguelikeIt.com. Let's be honest. That's it. Everything is over on tvgp.tv, discord.tvgp.tv.
Let's go.
Join the best community on the internet. We'll see you all next week. Bye.
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 That's like 2 minutes in the middle of the episode earlier where I'm just like, all of this is like water off a duck's back, where I'm just like, I'm not here. All right, Nimp, what are your titles for this week?
All right, I have First Taste is Free, says Boston. Boy, I don't know how I wrote this way. So we'll move on to the next one of Need All the Back Pedals. Or paddles. Jesus. Still very heavy metal.
You're good.
We Almost Got a Vase. And Listen for the Sound or Get Good.
I missed We Almost Got a Vase. All right, Moon, what do you have?
Lads. Bill broke it. We Almost Got a Vase. Meme of the night. He's just a BB. It's called Light. Remedy Working Relationship, and This is Gibberish.
I have This Eight-Eyed Dude. We Did the Stupid Stuff. The Power of Stuff. Shockingly, 2 totally different games. The Remedy Working Relationship, and We Almost Got a Vase. I put a check mark next to We Almost Got a Vase because that showed up in more than one list, and I like that one.
I'm down with that.
Is there anything else that jumps out?
The only other thing that jumps out to me is Lads, but that's just because it's stupid.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm leaning towards We Almost Got a Vase. We're like closing the loop from an earlier episode, which always tickles me.
Yep, I'm good with that.
All right, circle in it.
I am ready.
Oh.
I'm ready too.
All right. All right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 918 for May 26th, 2025. We almost got a vase.
Never has plink plonk noises been so horrifying.
You know, depending on the aesthetic that you're looking for, I'm more of an Amphora vase man myself. But
I hate you so much.
Don't ask me. Well, it's D&D. It's always D&D. That's how I know.
I should have guessed. Yeah, I thought one of you was going to make a vase joke. No, we almost got a vase.
Well, vase is my preferred nomenclature, if I'm completely honest.
True. All right, thank you very much, everyone, for listening and watching. We do greatly appreciate it. We just need to go. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.